And the last two lines says, and so with peace and plenty, Nigeria may be blessed. May Nigeria be blessed. Once again, I warmly welcome all of us to this gathering. My name is Ruben Okala, and it's my pleasure to welcome you here, and by the grace of God, I'm the master of ceremony. This is public presentation of a book titled 9 Lives, the Bello-Fadile Memoirs. Before we go ahead, help me as I introduce the title to you. The chairman of the occasion, elder statesman and former military head of state, General Absalami Abubakar, GCFR, is in the building. The grand patron, also elder statesman and well-respected former military head of state, we call him IBB, General Ibrahim Babangida, represented by his daughter, Her Excellency Aisha Babangida. Right? Royal Father of the Day, ladies and gentlemen, Honorable Justice Sidi Bagi Mohammed I, Chairman, Nasarawa State Council of Chiefs. I guess he's on his way. But nevertheless, let's put our hands together. In case you're not aware, former National Security Advisor, Colonel Sambo Dasuki, is in the building. The spiritual father of the day is no other than John Cardinal Onaiyekan. Mother of the day, Madam Victoria Aino Olorora, represented by her daughter, Accountant Bola. The book reviewer is a professor of law, ladies and gentlemen, Professor Agbo Jerry Madaki. The chief book reviewer is no other than the SDP presidential candidate in 2023 general election. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together as I introduce to you. I call him Mr. President, Prince Barrister Adewale Adebayo. Former Chief of Defense Staff, General Martin Luther Agwe, is also with us today. Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Senator George Akume, is being expected. Right? The author, okay, rather let me say the latest author in town, and the man with 9 lives, Colonel Bello-Fadile, is right here. Former Senate President David Mark is also in the building. Okay, I think we can proceed a little while introduction will go on later. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, literally killed, but he refused to die. Persecuted, he refused to give up. Knocked down several times, he rose up several times. Court-martialed and sentenced to life in prison. But one day, freedom came. And as the Holy Bible says, whoever the Son of Man has set free is free indeed. Today we are gathered to celebrate freedom. We are gathered to celebrate a former tenant of Argungu prison. We all have one life, but the celebrant has 9 lives. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, is a retired colonel of the Nigerian Army with a doctorate degree in law. We call him RSB Bello-Fadile. Please, a round of applause for the author. Okay. The next item is opening prayer, because that is the reason why we have to start on this note. Opening prayer is going to be done by no other. He's a great patriot, a man of honor, an apostle of peace, an advocate of justice, former Archbishop of Abuja Catholic Diocese. His Eminence, John Cardinal Onaiko, is going to pray for us before we proceed. Put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen.
Shall we dispose our hearts and minds for prayer, even though we've already prayed, especially in the last verse of the national new old anthem that we have just executed, that so that the scriptures might be fulfilled. And since it is on the program, I have to ask all of us to join me in this opening prayer. O Almighty and merciful God, we thank you for bringing us all here, all of us here together in peace and harmony. We thank you for sparing the life of our brother, Colonel RSB Bello-Fadile, retired, that he's able to write this book with unusual content and style. The life of each one of us, O Lord, is in your hand, whether we like it, whether we know it or not. To each person, you have given a life destiny and mission. Blessed are those who know their life mission and destiny and pursue it with faith in you. And when the end comes, as indeed it will come, may we face your judgment, not with trepidation, but with expectation of a reward of eternal life. May the Lord grant our nation peace and harmony, so that we may be able to enjoy the prosperity which you have provided for us. We ask this through Christ our Lord. Amen.
I thought you were going to clap. Introduction continues. I'd like to apologize that former Chief of Army Staff, General Alwali Kazir, is also with us and is on a high table, well seated. Okay. Ambassador Ayo Oke, former DG NIA, is also with us. Former Governor of Bauchi State, MF Abubakar, SAN is also here. Admiral Okoye, former Chief of Defense Intelligence, is also with us. Okay. Professor Morris Iwu is in the building. Please clap. Justice Tijani is also here with us. Air Vice Marshal Ben Obadan. Please keep clapping. Justice Kabiru White is also represented here by her daughter. Please wave wherever you are. We're expecting Senator Kanu Agabi SAN. Please keep clapping. I know this one is from my state, General Tunde Ogbena. Senator Sunday Karimi is also here. Please keep clapping. Honorable Salman Idris, please clap for him. Alhaji Ahmed Raji is also here. I know this one, Senator Victor Udoma Elba. Chief Adigboyega Awomoloro, SAN, is also here. Justice Dupe Atoke is also in the building. OCJ Okucha, SAN, also is here. Put your hands together. Justice Auta is in the building. Please put your hands together. Okay, we're moving on, but introduction will continue later. But for now, we're going to have a short speech, a welcome address by Premium Times Group, the publisher who is represented by my friend and brother, Mojid Mosikilio. He's coming from up there.
Good morning, everyone. I will just abide with the established protocols already established for lack of time. So my name is Mosiki Majid. I'm editor-in-chief at Premium Times newspaper. I'm chief operating officer of the Premium Times Group. Of this group, we have the Premium Times Groups, which has published this remarkable work that we are presenting today. So, dear distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, all protocols are duly observed. It gives me great pleasure to be here at this gathering that reflects on the extraordinary narrative of the life of Dr. Ralph Sixtus Bello-Fadile, not only from its origins in Kaba, northern Nigeria, but through his journey across numerous institutions, prominent among which was the Nigerian Army. This was where he recorded the unique feat of being a precocious inductee, but also rose to the height of academic attainment as the first military trained lawyer
and then PhD holder in law, and also head of the Nigerian Army Legal Unit, to his other significant experiences, which took him through a number of the 9 lives that we have said before us in this astonishing volume being presented today. Naturally, at Premium Times Books, we are interested in documenting stories of the human experience and the narratives of impacted and impactful lives. More so, an important one like this, that not only tells of how an individual has kept surmounting major life challenges, but also in manners that equally tell the story of our great country, Nigeria. Certainly, Dr. Bello-Fadile's 9 lives extends the frontiers of what we know about this country and the various actors in one of its most foremost institutions, the Nigerian Army, and how their actions have defined the course of the nation's history at critical periods. Of course, in the nature of biographical account of this time, some might regard the way in which a slice of history is presented to us, many years after the event being chronicled, as being controversial or even contest the manner of its rendition. Yet, every single jigsaw piece in the puzzle of our historical experiences in Nigeria is important. That this, among others, will inspire debate is a very important part of the recognition and preservation of national memory. The media, from which our practice takes off, is generally considered as the great documenters of history. I bet many have regarded this as being history in a hurry. Though beyond this has now come great efforts in appealing to evidence, lending the weight of analysis and adopting the procedures and rigor of science to bear on our practice. Hence, while history might remain in a hurry, how it is now documented is a lot more painstaking. As an associated level of practice, our endeavors at book publishing in Premium Times is as meticulous in engaging with historical materials, and we make great efforts in assisting authors to present their accounts with all the clarity and importance these deserve, although the ultimate credit for their perspectives go to the authors themselves. With all sense of modesty, we regard 9 lives, the Bello-Fadile Memoirs, as a great addition to the narratives of self and country, which, as mentioned, fills a remarkable space in the unknown or not properly known aspect of our history. It is expansive in scope and greatly detailed, no doubt due to the vast intellectual prowess of the author, Dr. Bello-Fadile, whose capacity for detail is huge, alongside his powers of the core of major episodes, like those involving the details of the proceedings at the Special Investigative Panel, where he was subjected to harrowing consequences of being an activist for a different society within a very traditional institution. Perhaps more importantly is the universality of some of the experiences chronicled by Dr. Bello-Fadile in this narrative, which touches on some of the great themes of survival through the maelstroms of life, the capacity and determination to surmount hardships, and the role of faith in the ultimate triumph of the human spirit. These are aspects that speak to the essence of each and every one of us, making it the story of every man at one key level or the other. We need to keep relating such as indicative of the human capacity and potential is part of what defines our publishing enterprise. At Premium Times Books, we have 3 principal missions, which is to expand the reading public in Nigeria, to make essential books easily available to the reading public, and to bring books about Nigeria published in Europe, America, and elsewhere home to Nigeria. In over a decade of our operations, we have published a significant number of books, with our catalog growing with a number of highly remarkable titles. Some of these include Nigerianews They Carry Last by the late distinguished Professor Pius Adisani, and then our trilogy on religion and fundamentalism, anchored by Professor Rauf Mustafa, from overcoming Boko Haram to sect and social disorder, creed and grievance. Also, Quranic school in northern Nigeria, remaking Nigeria, 60 years, 60 voices. We are all Biafrans by Chido Onuma. Also, we have released great studies like those of Dr. Mani Ibietan on cyber politics, the Sokoto Caliphate by Morelast, equally my own very well-received book, The Letterman, Inside the Secret Letter of former Nigerian President Olusegun Obasanjo. In addition to Azu Izokene's writing for media and monetizing it. At Premium Times, we are on a mission to keep publishing books that continually deepen knowledge on important aspects of our life, and which continue to serve as crucial resources for engaging with our histories and experiences. We intend to keep at this role, and we continue to offer our services to major documenters and interpreters of experience like Dr. Bello-Fadile, as he does the unprecedented and embarked on his 10th life. So shall he be. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. And welcome.
Premium Time is publishing, our sales brand is also publishing. And they are ready to collaborate to push the book forward to the other part of the world. Help me put your hands together as I introduce to you Dr. Senator Buchukwu Uba, who is with us today. Also, Pastor Ade Alabi is also with us. Thank you. Former Minister of Sport, always looking sporty, Solomon Dalong is here. While the celebrant was in Argungu prison, one night the warden knocked on his window to say, "Oga, you are free." Then he asked the warder, "Who freed me?" Because he was in the dark, he never knew who was the head of state then. And I'm about to introduce to you the man that freed the celebrant. And he happens to be the chairman of the occasion. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to welcome to the microphone to give us a short speech, elder statesman and former head of state, General Absalami Alhaji Bubakar, GCFR.
Please be seated. Thank you. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, on an occasion when you have retired service personnel, it is natural that you see a retired personnel at the occasion. So all the retired generals here, you are welcome. And all the retired colleagues, or the practicing colleagues of the Fadile Bello, you are all welcome. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it is both an honor and privilege to stand before you today as we gather to celebrate the release of 9 lives, quote and unquote, and outstanding work by retired Colonel Bello-Fadile, a man whose life exemplifies the virtues of commitment, patriotism, and unyielding service to our nation, Nigeria. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, a book is a window into the world within the writer and the world around the writer, read and understood as a bridge between the world of the writer and the world in which the reader lives. In the course of his military career, Colonel Bello-Fadile demonstrated a remarkable dedication to the core values that define our armed forces. That is, loyalty, discipline, and sacrifice. His story, as told in this book, shed light not only to the extraordinary challenges he faced, but also on the profound role the military plays in upholding democracy, securing peace, and defending the territorial integrity of Nigeria. The importance of military service in protecting democracy and national integrity. The military roles in protecting democracy is not merely about defending the borders. It is about preserving the very essence of freedom, ensuring that the people of this great country can live in peace and security. At critical moments in Nigeria's history, the armed forces have stepped in to maintain order, protect the Constitution, and safeguard the will of the people. Colonel Fadile's journey reflects these values, illustrating the deep connection between military service and the defense of democratic ideals. At a time when our nation faces internal and external threats, it is essential to remember that the military is not an isolated institution, but a guardian of national unity. Like all of us here, we are all involved in safeguarding the national unity of this country. In 9 lives, quote and unquote, we witness the dedication and resilience that Colonel Fadile brought to his service, and it serves as a powerful reminder of the critical role the armed forces continue to play in shaping Nigeria's destiny. A call to young people to cultivate life of service and commitment. In the face of current challenges, we must encourage the younger generation to emulate such examples of service. Nigeria is at a pivotal point that the need for dedication, patriotism, and selflessness has never been greater than today. Colonel Fadile's unwavering commitment, even in the face of trials, is an example of how young people can contribute to nation building. A life of service, whether in the military, public office, or civil society, strengthens the fabric of our country. The sacrifices made by our soldiers to secure the peace we often take for granted should inspire young Nigerians to adopt the spirit of national service, to rise above self-interest, and work collectively for the future of Nigeria. Foundation for patriotism and unwavering commitment. And Bello's fightless patriotism shines through not only in his military career, but also in his life after retirement. A brilliant lawyer. I'm not a lawyer, but the lawyers told me so. And external scholar, Bello-Fadile has continued to seek knowledge, stay curious, and remain committed to Nigeria's progress. It is this relentless pursuit of excellence and deep sense of duty that makes him a role model for all Nigerians. Through his scholarship and his contributions to national discourse, he continued to serve the nation, reminding us that the call to service does not end with retirement. His resilience, intellect, and passion are testaments to the fact that true service to the nation extends beyond the uniform. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the importance of service in these trying times. Nigeria at this moment faces significant economic and social security challenges. Therefore, it is imperative that we look to figures like Bello-Fadile as sources of inspiration. His example shows that through perseverance, hard work, and the spirit of patriotism, we can navigate these difficult times. If young Nigerians can afford a similar attitude and in an unswerving commitment to service, our country will emerge stronger and more united and more capable of facing future challenges. In conclusion, let us take this moment to honor the life and service of Colonel Bello-Fadile. Bello, can you stand up for recognition, please? Thank you. Sit down, please. Not only as a soldier, but as a patriot who exemplifies the best of what Nigeria can be. His life is chronicled in 9 lives, quote and unquote, offers valuable lessons of sacrifice, commitment, and the enduring importance of serving one's country. I commend him for his extraordinary contributions to the nation, both during and after his military career. May this book inspire many others to follow in his footsteps, dedicating their lives to the service of Nigeria. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, as the year is running out to its end, allow me to urge all of us to maintain peace and be each other's keeper, because it is necessary to keep that peace, because if there is no peace, there is no country. Let me use this opportunity to wish you a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year in advance. Thank you for listening.
Please clap more for the general. The first person that wish us Happy Christmas and New Year is the General. One more time, put your hands together. Thank you. You may be seated. Okay, Major General Atola Bay is also today. Please put your hands together for him. Former Majority Leader, Honorable Mulikat Akande Adiola is also here. Our sister and mother, Edith Chidima Wajungu, is also with us. Please put your hands together. Professor Mamudu Kasim Mumudu is also here. Please put your hands together. Air Commodore Dakwat, representing the Chief of Air Staff, is also here. Please put your hands together. This is Mariam Owais, representing Honorable Justice M.L. Owais, former CGN, is also here. Put your hands together. Apart from President KAFTAN and His Eminence Cardinal, almost everybody on this high table is a general. So we're in the midst of Army General. So be careful with what you do. Because one day I was in the midst of soldiers and we're introducing ourselves. I'm General this, I'm Captain this, I am here and here. And then I introduced myself as Captain Ruben Okala. And they wanted to arrest me for impersonation until I told them that I'm the captain of Kogi Football Club. That's how I was freed, like the author was freed on that day. Okay, we got a word from Elder Statesman General Ibrahim Bandamusi Babangida, GCFR, that he couldn't make it, but he sent his dear daughter, His Excellency Aisha Babangida. Please give us a word from Baba.
Good afternoon, everyone. To my dear father, Dr. Abdulsalam Abubakar, Your Eminence, and for me, this is, I'm in awe, sitting amongst people that I've always regarded as the supermen of Nigeria. All my uncles here. Some of them are here and some of them are on the floor. It is such a pleasure to see each and every one of you. And to my uncle, Bello, thank you for doing this. Not just for me, not just for you, not for your family, but to the nation. Thank you. Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, respected members of the literary and political community, the press, it is both a profound privilege and an honor to stand before you today on behalf of President Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida, who has entrusted me to convey his thoughts at this significant occasion, the launch of 9 Lives, the Bello-Fadile Memoirs. In the pages of this book lies a testament to ideas and reflections that have shaped our nation, strengthened our communities, and inspired countless individuals to pursue a path of courage and integrity. President Babangida has long been a voice for progress, unity, and a brighter future. And this work encapsulates a lifetime of dedicated service and unparalleled insight. As I speak these words, I am deeply reminded of his steadfast belief that stories, knowledge, and thoughtful discourse have the power to transform our world. It is in this spirit of hope, resilience, and an unwavering dedication to truth that he shares this work with all of us today. With great humility and love for President Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida and the vision that this book embodies, I will now present his message. And he reads, "The idea of Colonel Fadile's 9 lives can easily be discerned from his professional trajectory, both as a gentleman officer and a lawyer of note. Fadile falls into the category of those who invest time and energy into intellectual excursions to enrich human history and the documentation of same. I am not surprised at Bello's introspection, chronicling his antidote into lucid prose for the sake of humanity, a journey that spans several decades, covering fields of human endeavor. Bello-Fadile is one of a kind, stubborn, stoic, and resilient. He is also very prolific. From his military career days, when he took permission to study law and follow the academic ladder until he obtained his PhD in law. His academic climb helped to deepen his knowledge about law and society, justice and discipline. Despite all his tribulations in the military, he kept his eyes on the ball, buoyed by determination and unshakable faith in his conviction to conquer the world around him. He was brave, fearless, and courageous, and he still is. He was a man of few words, but his depth and skills in terms of knowledge of operational engagement was remarkable. 9 lives isn't enough to catchphrase to capture the picturesque details of Bello-Fadile, especially in the twilight of his military career when he was branded into a phantom coup that sent him into solitary confinement. Even in the face of such tribulation, he remained undaunted and stood his ground, steeped in the best tradition of remaining consistent in the face of adversity. Bello-Fadile never gave up until he gained freedom at the onset of this democracy. His freedom from solitary confinement didn't change his character, comportment, and resilience. Like a jolly good fellow, he got acculturated almost immediately and participated actively in the ensued democratic engagements to birth the Third Republic. His rich intellectuality was a stimulation for deeper conversations around democracy and good governance. Fadile's knack for knowledge saw him often taking permission to go for further studies. Some of his superiors would easily turn him down or turn his request down, but I came in handy each time, granting him access to go for further studies. His knowledge helped us to navigate the politics of military administration in a world that was in dire need of democracy at that time. His book, therefore, should offer the reader the opportunity to gain insights into some of the decisions we took in those trying times in Nigeria's historical trajectory, from civil war to our present-day democracy. I would have loved to be physically present at the event to fully synchronize the beauty of age from old to young, in a military profession that I cherish so much. The discipline, the respect for authority, due process, and ability to dissect issues with multiple interpretations while keeping an eye on the execution. The military profession is no doubt one of candor, aura, and credibility. Whether in the past or present, I will always remain a patriot to the creed that sustains a tradition that recognizes and respects constituted authority. This book, no doubt, will be a rich reservoir of knowledge of some minute details that the author encountered in his many years of serving his fatherland. A book of this nature would also offer remarkable insights into his trajectory, near-death situations, risks taken, and the many plots he survived in trying to excel in life's many tribulations. Bello-Fadile is not a quitter. He remains an exemplary archetype of a dogged fighter, using the instrumentality of law and order. His law profession comes in handy each time he tries to engage in those risky adventures. Thank God. Thank God. Thank God he's alive to tell his story his own way. It is a resourceful documentation that will serve many generations to come. I highly recommend it to each and every one of you. Thank you very much for your audience. May God continue to strengthen you. May He bless you, and may He protect you as He elevates you as well. Thank you very much. Yes.
The general deserves more applause. Thank you very much. Representing Major General Pokola is Chief Peter Ozuago. Please clap for him. Thank you very much. Former Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Chief Godwin Kanu Agabi, is also with us today. Thank you. Two of my senior colleagues are right there in the midst of you. One of them is Kola Ologodin and Kazim Afegwa. Senator Lawa Shaibu is also here with us, please. Thank you. Gentlemen of the Fifth are also here. Please clap for them. Mama Kazaure, spokesperson for Peter Obi campaign, is also here. Please put your hands together. All right. 9 lives. We all have 1 life, but somebody has 9 lives. Okay. The book is about to be reviewed. And the right person to do this job for us is a professor of law. Ladies and gentlemen, PhD, FICMC, Professor Agbo Jerry Madake. Please put your hands together for him.
Your Excellency, the former Head of State, General Absalom Abubakar, it's my honor and privilege meeting you in person for the first time in my life. When you were in the military and the Head of State, and upon your exit, and with due respect, you chose to begin to style your white beard, I never realized at that age a man could look that handsome with white beard, and I decided to start keeping mine after you. Let me respectfully recognize everyone on the high table, and permit me to also specifically recognize the senior advocates of Nigerians that are here my own immediate constituency. And the last person I'll recognize, and I'm doing this because that is what Senator David Mark taught us via his voice. He told us long ago, he said, look, if you want to be happy in your marriage, each time you receive your pay slip, hand it over to your wife. And Your Excellency, Senator, you won't believe it, exactly on Friday, we are at the Hilton, and my wife wanted to buy something, and I complained. She reminded me that, have you forgotten what your brother David Mark told you? And because of that, please let me recognize the presence of my wife, Dr. Mrs. Enen Madaki. Thank you so much for tolerating me. I will try to be brief. Colonel Sambo just asked me now that should they bring out the exercise book to take notes, believing that lecturers give lectures. I'll do my best to be brief. In all honesty, I wouldn't know what qualifies me to be the book reviewer of this book by Colonel Bello-Fadile. At a point when he told me the array of retired generals that will be here, I almost chickened out because I believe I do not belong here. I prayed about it, and the Lord told me that you have something in common with the generals that will be here. And I always want to acknowledge the role, in particular, of the Nigerian Army in modeling and making me what I am in life, Your Excellency. I am very, very proud to say that I was privileged to have attended the Nigerian Military School, without which I wouldn't be here today. I'm very, very grateful, Your Excellencies. I'm very, very grateful to the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. This is an autobiography of Colonel Rav Sistus Babatunde Bello-Fadile, otherwise publicly called RSB Bello-Fadile. Writing an autobiography serves various purposes, which include personal benefits, public benefit, therapeutic benefit, and professional benefits. On the personal plane, an autobiography helps with analysis of life experiences, accomplishments, and challenges leading to self-discovery. By doing so, I've just been distracted. By doing so, one lives a personal history of family and future generation. As part of the public benefit, an autobiography from the sharing of experiences help to motivate and empower other people to attain their goal. It also offers insight into professions or historical period. Writing an autobiography relieves stress, releases emotion, and helps in the process of focusing on the present through reflective writing. In writing his memoir, Bello-Fadile has achieved these objectives. The book is broken down into 5 chapters, with each chapter narrating events that build up to the events in the life of the author. The narrative power of the author cannot be ignored, as he's able to capture the interest of his readers through his vivid recollections of events and excellent poetic skill. Chapter 1 is titled Early Life. Colonel F.S. Bello is a native of Kaba in Kogi State, North Central Nigeria. He holds the traditional title when I sat with the audience, and then they say stubborn twins. Even though Bello passed examination to secondary school, his dream for higher education was almost truncated due to impecuniosity. Despite the financial struggle, he never gave up on his dream. Readers are led into Colonel Bello's struggle towards attaining education and how he was able to surmount those challenges, making him the accomplished man he is today. His maternal uncle, Merike Adebayo, took him to Oro, where he was a teacher, and enrolled him to finish primary 7 at Muslim Community Secondary School, Keola. He thereafter enrolled in Ilorin Teachers College in January 1966, which was to qualify him to become a grade 2 teacher. He graduated as the second overall best student. One notable event captured in Chapter 1 is how the young Bello was able to secure admission into the Nigerian Defense Academy for the 11th regular combatant course, which began in December 1971 and ended in June 1974. His promotion from the rank of officer cadet to second lieutenant, his training at the NDA, his outstanding performance there, and he was actually first among army cadets, and how his uncle also encouraged him to study law at the Ahmadu Bello University between 1974 to 1977, thus becoming the first military officer to be granted scholarship to study law. He's called to bar, he's becoming a lawyer, and his odyssey in the army is also discussed. Chapter 2 is titled Service as the First Military Trained Lawyer, and narrates how the author piqued interest in obtaining a master's degree in military law at the George Advocate School in America in 1979 with one Captain Peters to become the first Nigerian to attend the graduate course at the JAD School. This qualified him to be redeployed as staff officer discipline at the Army headquarters upon his return to Nigeria. His influence in the establishment of the Directorate of Legal Services is highlighted in this chapter. His laudable services to the Nigerian Army are also discussed. His posting as Assistant Director, Legal Service at HQ 1 Mechanized Infantry Division in Kaduna is captured here, and how he enrolled for the Masters of Law degree at the Ahmadu Bello University. And then subsequently, also a PhD program at the same university to become the first individual to start and complete a PhD in law at the institution in December 1988. Chapter 3 headed Coup d'etat, unconstitutional changes of government, revolutions in Nigeria and its effect. The frequency of coup d'etat is a key thematic issue that runs through the book. The effects of coup in Nigeria are well treated in this chapter, particularly on pages 197 to 207. Very importantly, the substantive and procedural laws that are used to deal with masterminds of coup in any form in Nigeria are summarized under the subhead, the laws, from pages 208 to 225, some of which include the Armed Forces Act under the Laws of the Federation 2004, the Manual of Military Law and Rules of Procedure, Army 1972, among others, are discussed in the book. This chapter gives us a glimpse into how seriously coups and attempted coups are taken by the military government. And we see how the events unfold with the conspiracy that led to the arrest and trial and conviction of Colonel F.S. Bello. Chapter 4 is the highlight of the book and is titled The Enterprise, the end before the beginning. The chapter on the enterprise is disconstructed into subheads such as background, hypothesis of the enterprise, the plot, the plan, the hunt, and my trial. This chapter begins with a poetic insight into the turbulent phase of life of Bello, leading the reader to a web of conspiracy, betrayal, and false accusation. Here we see how he was charged along with other officers with treason, illegal possession of firearms, and conduct to the prejudice of good order and service discipline, and how he was found guilty of the 3 charges and sentenced to death by firing squad on the 14th of July, 1985. The story of the enterprise, which was codenamed Back to Barrack Campaign, contained an account of what Bello did as an individual to actualize the BBC to ensure the coming into existence of good democratic governance in Nigeria under a civilian dispensation. The 1995 coup was christened the Phantom Coup by most media houses in Nigeria. This book, to my mind, puts to rest the misinformation about the plot, as the author, by his own admission, knew the consequences of his action. At page 227, he wrote thus: knowing the immense danger that lay ahead of daring to dream of a democratic Nigeria during my time in the armed forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, I did all the same. I conquered every fear of failure with high spirit and earnest belief in the opportunities that come with true democracy. End of quote. Indeed, there was a plan to displace the government of the day in 1995. The author at page 165 of the book adopted Edward Luttwak's definition of a coup d'etat as the infiltration of a small but critical segment of state apparatus, which is then used to displace the government from its control of the remainder. Justifying our conclusion, we place further reliance on the speech of General Shehu Musa Yar'Adua, retired, calling for a transition to democracy, while criticizing the military's record of human rights at a gathering of civil societies, organizations, politicians, and journalists, which can be found on pages 241 to 248 of the book, and the correspondences between the author and General Shehu Musa Yar'Adua and General Olusegun Obasanjo, respectively. Arrangements were also made for ration cash allowance, RSA, for troops that may be deployed to guard sensitive and vulnerable places on the final day. Chapter 5 is titled Detention, Freedom, and Life After, and it recounts the many experiences of Colonel Bello while being moved from one detention facilities to other, an attempt on his life by the military government of General Sani Abacha through Major Mustafa, his prayer life and how God delivered him from the many plots to end his life are discussed here. Major events that occurred while he was at Gungu prison were also highlighted, including how some letters miraculously appear on his palm, an assurance of God's presence with him. Here, the date of release on the 4th of March 1999, and the Thanksgiving Mass in gratitude to God were accentuated. Throughout the entire gamut of this literary masterpiece, the theme of the relationship between man and his creator and bravado stands out. Is there something about men who are super intelligent that predisposes them to risk and near-death experience and even danger? Even General Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida, Nigerian former president, acknowledged that only a select individual have experienced a captivating life compared to that of Bello-Fadile. He dares where angels dare not trod. No surprise, therefore, that he described himself as a man with 9 lives. As a young captain, in one of his legal opinions, he described the handling and the outcome of a general court-martial by the then Brigadier Muhammadu Buhari, who was the GOC 2 Mechanized Infantry Division in Badan. He described the outcome and the conduct of the general as Germany Gestapo custody. This drew the ire and consternation of Buhari so much so that he threatened that either I leave the army or you, Bello, you leave the army. Of course, none of them left the army on account of that incident. You can see he actually has 9 lives. Another incident worth reflecting here is the aftermath of the Major General Mamman Vasa's coup of December 1985. In a sudden twist of fate, all the major accused persons, to wit, General Vasa, Lieutenant Colonel Bition, Lieutenant Colonel Yoshe, and Major Akwashi, had all requested that Bello should be their defending counsel, their attorney. This innocuous request triggered an alarm, and Bello was considered the 5th accused person. Mother Lord smiled on him as his alibi of being away on scholarship and out of the country saved him. Jamam Vasa and the others were found guilty of conspiracy to commit treason and got executed on 5th of March 1986. Another escape by the whiskers. There's also the Jeans House at the junction of Bodilon Road and McPherson Avenue, Ikoyi, Lagos, where Major Mike Ike Yoshe and Lieutenant Colonel Musa Biton had lived, just like Lieutenant Colonel Bukasuka Dinka years before. And the 3 of them did not survive to tell the story. They all lived in that house. If your guy Bello lived in that house at a later stage, Bello was the only one who had lived in that house and survived to put down the present book. What a cat with 9 lives. Colonel Bello's unwavering faith in God demonstrated in his faithful devotion to the Holy Rosary and the Blessed Virgin Mary, were clearly highlighted. According to the author, he left everything in the hands of God and continued to invoke divine intervention through the most blessed Virgin Mary, Mother of God, with a recitation of the Rosary. Before his arrest, Bello had made a photocopy of the draft speech that would have been read if the enterprise had succeeded, and hid same in his bedroom. After his arrest, he used the Rosary to pray that the speech should not be found. 3 different searches were conducted on his house, but the draft speech was never seen. And it was in his bedroom. In fact, it was there until he was released by our president, General Absalom Abubakar. Thank you, sir. Sir, you're a good man, sir. The Rosary showed up for him on another occasion. He had bought a camcorder video camera to record the draft speech, and someone was to send it to him from Washington, D.C. In a sudden twist, the person could not send it before his arrest. Miraculously, his death sentence was commuted to life, and to the glory of God, he was released. This he attributed to the handiwork of God, whom he has never lost faith in. In conclusion, permit me to make a few observations. Anybody familiar with the history of military rule in Africa cannot help but agree that military intervention into politics has not proven good for the continent and constrains democracy. Military participation into politics brings an end to any kind of democratic experimentation. It is imperative to state the role of institutional balance and civilian control in reducing the detrimental effect of militarization. A power imbalance brought about by weak civilian oversight of the armed forces might impede the growth of strong democratic institutions. Reforming the security sector is necessary because it provides a way to guarantee accountability and match the military's function with democratic ideas. The result of long military regime is still being felt in many African countries, as some of the democracies met on ground values that were already contradictory to democratic ideas. Examples include absence of ideal checks and balances, free and fair election, authoritarian leadership that seems to care less about consensus and public opinion of the masses. Therefore, for Africa to have sustainable post-military era democracy, there's a need to eradicate some of the practices that are associated with military regime, like abuse of human rights, dictatorship, disregard for the rule of law, and corruption with impunity. Furthermore, the military needs to see itself as an institution for the safeguarding of peace, human life, and preservation of law and order, rather than an institution of governance ready to jump in and take over power at the slightest opportunity. This book has achieved what the author sets out to do, to tell his story to the world by himself. By his story and life experiences, we encourage and inspire to draw strength from his character, his resilience, his quest for knowledge, his dedication to service, his love for his fatherland and countrymen, and ultimately his faith in God, which kept him safe and unharmed despite the many attempts to bring him down. The use of simple grammatical constructions make it easy for everybody to read and understand this book. The importance of this book cannot be overemphasized. Students of government and history will find it very interesting, as many significant events in the history of Nigeria are captured. The book serves as an inspiration to those who may want to give up on their dreams because of trials, to look at the life of the author and learn how to be strong and maintain faith in God during adversities. Despite the many travails of the author, he never relented in fighting the cause he believed in. In the end, he was helped by God. I recommend this book to all members of the armed forces and to all Nigerians in general. Thank you, and God bless you. And may I follow the phrase of our former president to wish all of you a very, 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 very Merry Christmas in the time of excruciating pains and poverty. And I pray that God will make a difference in our country. I also pray that anybody who is here should see the next year in the mighty name of Jesus. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
the prof has given us insight to the book. I think he deserves another round of applause. Okay, let me also welcome Honorable Bode Adeyemi, SSE on Energy Matters to Kogi State Governor. SA Technical to the Secretary to Government of the Federation, Professor Babatunde Bernard Bolaji is also here, representing the SGF. Okay. Honorable Obi Ogwosha is now amazed. Please put your hands together. Dr. Sonny Monidafe Jagaban Jimeta is also here. Honorable Idris Salman, representing Kababono Ijumu Federal Constituency, is also here. Oludare Ogulana, Professor of National Security, Texas, USA, is also here. Mr. Laulu Akande, Presidential Spokesman to former Vice President Osibanjo, is also here. I think I'm seeing Managing Director AIT, Mrs. Tosi Dokwesi. All right. Okay, we're now going to goodwill messages, and we're going to goodwill messages. And the celebrant had given me a message to all those coming to deliver goodwill message that you have 1 minute each. Oh my goodness. When I grow up, I want to be like the author, but I don't want to go to Arugungu. First on my list for the goodwill message is former Attorney General of the Federation, Senator Kanu Agabi. Please come forward to deliver your message. The author said he didn't send me that is 1 minute, but I send myself that is 1 minute so that we can all live here in good time. Thank you very much. One more time, put your hands together for former Attorney General.
Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. 1 minute is more than enough. Let me say how grateful I am to be part of this. I remember my friend and my brother Bello-Fadile very well and will never forget him. Because when I came back to law practice, I think in 2007, I had been out of practice for about 10 years, and I had forgotten law. I had forgotten procedure. I didn't even have a single case. Then by God's eminent grace, INEC gave me a big case. I didn't deserve it, but it was God's doing. And I had to work on that case with Wole Adebayo, with Bello-Fadile, with Amechi Nwiwu, with Wole, who else was with us? Yes, so this was the team. They did the work. I was learning from them. Bello-Fadile, thank you very much. And it was a big case. It was Yaradua's petition, a high-profile case. So they did the work. I was just following them, and it gave me credit and restored me to the practice of law. The second significance in this ceremony for me is history. We're a nation without a sense of history. And it is affecting us very badly. We must have a sense of history. We must teach our children history. They don't know history. They are making a lot of mistakes. So this attempt at drawing our attention back to history by Bello-Fadile is something that I commend with my whole heart. And those who are in charge of our education today must take note of the need for the teaching of history in our schools. We must return to history. We know the history of other nations. We idolize the ancestors of other nations. We don't know our own history. So those who are taking trouble to put down our history, may the Lord bless them. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next on my list for the goodwill message, former Chief of Defense Staff, Elder Statesman General Martins Luther Agway.
I stand on the existing protocol. Well, my relationship with Bello started in NDA. Bello is from course 11, in course 8. And at our time in NDA, another person joined, Colonel Sambo, course 12. So, and at that time, I became the NDA head boy, called senior under officer. And interestingly, I'm not surprised that from what our relationship was in NDA, these two gentlemen maintained that relationship that they started right from NDA. Open, wanting the best for this country. And that's why my comment, if Bello will remember, I said, when he introduced the issue of the book to me and the title, I said, and I think the best thing, let me quickly see if I can reach it. What I said, yeah, thank God it's here. Great, it sounds interesting from the cover and could help us put so many things in their proper perspective. I'm sure it will also make good reading to the military, not to view those with different perspective as enemy, in quote, and try to apply the narrow military teaching of eliminating your enemy. It will make a good reading for students of law and international affairs. Above all, it will help us correct some of the national events and also put some of them in their proper perspective. Bello, well done. And please, I recommend that book. I have not read it, but knowing Bello, for the years I have known him, anything he put on paper, facts, and proper analysis. So I recommend the book to everybody who is here. Well done, Bello.
Thank you very much. Let me recognize the presence of Professor Morris Iwu. Also, Justice Danladi is also in the building. Please put your hands together for him. All right, the next goodwill message is coming from Chief OCJ Okocha, SAN.
Your Excellency, the chairman of the occasion and former head of states, Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I used to be the class monitor for the Nigerian Law School class of 78, now popularly styled the Diamond class, because of our superlative achievements. It was Senator Victor Ndomeba who named me class monitor because of my height and my stature. But when Asiwaju Adeboyega Awomolo, SAN, who is now the chairman of Body of Benchers, took silk before any of us, Bello could not take silk because he was busy chasing rebels and insurgents. I gave up the position of class monitor. And then another of our classmates became the Chief Justice of Nigeria, Walter S.N. Onongen. Omolo lost his position as class monitor, first SAN of a class, and Onongen became Chief Justice. And you know, a lawyer can never be higher than a judge. How much more a Chief Justice? So we are here because we have come to celebrate with our distinguished fellow Diamond, Bello-Fadile, Doctor of Philosophy in Law. And we say to Bello, congratulations. We all know what you went through because we have stayed in close touch since we were called to the bar in 1978. At the last bar conference, which we attended in Kaduna, was 2008. He invited us to the Defense Academy. No, NDA, Nigeria Defense Academy. Then the Nigerian breweries must have had a depot there because we drank so much beer. And the soldiers themselves, who were not our classmates, were also drinking so much beer. I was coming to Abuja from Port Harcourt. He says he'll take me out for drinks. I said, I don't drink beer anymore. My stomach has refused to go down. So do you have whiskey, good whiskey, well-aged whiskey? Bello dodged. I've been looking for him since I arrived at Abuja. So I want to take my whiskey with me. But Your Excellencies, we are here to celebrate the life of our dear colleague and to join him in thanking God for giving him 9 lives. I hear now he's on the 10th one. You will continue to have many. May God continue to bless you, and may God bless all of us. Thank you.
I have a question for you. Was he a noisemaker in the class?
No, he was a soldier. He respects discipline.
All right. Please, a round of applause one more time. We're proceeding in the goodwill message. And the next to come is no other than Senator Victor Nduma Egba, SAN.
Mr. Chairman, Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, in the law school, I sat in between, it's now I'm knowing his full names, Sixtus Babatunde, but then we knew him as rice, stew, and beans Bello-Fadile, RSB. So I sat in between him and the late Haruna Abubakar, who became first Deputy President of the Senate when we returned to democracy. Bello, I want to thank God, and I want to join others in thanking God that you lived to tell your story and in your own words. Because if you had had only one life and you died, we would have told your story. And trust us, we would have scandalized you like mad. So thank you for your story. I haven't read the book, but I have been warned again and again by my boss, Senator David Mack, never to criticize military intervention in Nigerian politics. It's a reality. And the reason why he has warned me, he said I was one of them in civilian clothes. So I will not talk bad about military intervention. But like I said, I haven't read the book. But I think the book, I suspect from snippets, that the book will deepen the conversation about the role of the military in civilian life and whether or not the democracy that we have today has delivered the dividends that we expected. I would like to say, even before I read the book, that our political space is receding. We were taught that democracy was government of the people, for the people, and by the people. But today, democracy, with due apologies to my brother, the former governor of Bauchi, Emir Abubakar SAN, our democracy has now become government of governors, by governors, and for governors. Because for you to qualify for any position today, whether as a senator, because the Senate is now retirement home for governors, or as minister, or as party chairman, the qualification is former governor. So the space is receding for those of us who are ordinary folks. The second issue, of course, is the famed relationship between democracy and development. There is this theory by social scientists that democracy brings development. Has that been our experience? It is an open question. Maybe I'll have an answer when I have read the book. So, Bello, thank you for your 9 lives. May you have the 10th, may you have the 11th. I met you just before your arrest, if you remember. And that was at the command officers' mess in Victoria Island in Lagos. I had followed one of your colleagues who was going to play tennis. And I saw you, you looked very agitated. You bought me a beer. And then when I heard you had been arrested, I couldn't say whether it was for non-payment for that beer or for something else, but it turned out to be something more serious. But I recall our conversation that day about the military returning to the barracks. And you were very, very passionate about it. So when I now discovered that you were arrested for something related to, because it was soon after the annulment of the June 12th elections, I knew that your passion had put you in trouble. But stay out of trouble. In your 9 lives, you have given enough trouble. I think you should retire from trouble. Congratulations and God bless you.
The author has been warned to stay out of trouble. Okay, we're continuing our goodwill messages. And it's my pleasure to welcome General Yakubu Usman. Couldn't make it, but AVM Obadan is going to speak for him. Please put your hands together. AVM Obadan. Okay. All right. Former Senate President David Mack is on his way to the podium. Oh, okay. Sorry. Please, he refused to clap. That's why there was that error. AVM Obadan is here. Thank you.
The chairman of this occasion, sir, members of the high table here, and members of the high table there. My name's Air Vice Marshal Benjamin Obada. I want to say how I met with my friend RSB Bello. We met for the first time at the military secretary's office. 5 of us, after the NDA's interview, were to go to Pakistan Defense Academy. I was representing the West. He was representing Northwest. Nwongbo was representing East. Diko was representing Northeast. Is it 5 already? We were just 5. I saw this young man, the way he was talking, very brave. Unlike me, just coming from the village. I never knew what he was talking about until we met with the secretary, the PA to the secretary, who now told us, gentlemen, you're traveling to Pakistan Defense Academy will not be possible. Bello immediately came up. Why will it not be possible? If it is not possible, why can't we go to Sandhurst? If it's not possible, then why can't we go to Canada Defense Academy? I said, gentlemen, shut up now. They say it's not possible. What is that? That is how we became friends. And we later came to NDA. Like Marga said, he was in Abyssinia Company. I was in Burma. And the friendship was quite good. To the extent that when he now got involved, so they said, that he came to Jaji. I was also called at SIB. I reported there too, to come and tell them what I know about what was happening. I told them there that if Bello-Fadile came to Jaji and he never saw me, then it's a betrayal of friendship. I said, Bello-Fadile did not come there because if he had come, he would have seen me. They say, are we that close? I said, yes. Then they now asked me of another person, whom I don't want to mention his name. They said that one brought money to us, which we shared. I told the chairman of the SRB that if the whole house is full of money, this person you are talking about will still want yours to be given to him. So they laughed and released me. Bello-Fadile is a very intelligent man, very bold. One thing I never had anybody mention, which I want to mention now, is that he is the defender of the downtrodden. Like Oga Agwai will know, once you are a senior, there in NDA, you are a semi-god. But Bello-Fadile will not want you to punish anybody that has not committed any offense. So, with this, Bello, you've had your 9 lives, and people have prayed for you to have the 10th and the 11th. May you have it in Jesus' name. Thank you, and God bless.
Thank you very much. We have 2 goodwill messages to go before the book is reviewed by the president. For now, help me put your hands together as I welcome to the podium His Excellency David Mark.
Your Excellency, the former head of state, our mentor, I'm sure you are not all surprised why they made him the chairman of this occasion. But just in case you don't know, I just want to refresh his memory and their memory also. If Bello indeed was planning anything, then there are so many people who should know. And if he was not planning anything, there are so many people also who should know. So, Chairman, thank you, sir, for being the chairman of this occasion. There is also a bigger boss to the boss who is here. So the line of knowledge on the basis of know and don't know, that bigger boss is well represented here. Thank you for representing Oga, Madam. When you go, let him know that we are all present here. Victor said, I warned them not to criticize military incursion in a civilian sphere. You can understand why. The last person Bello bought beer for, before he was arrested, was Victor. What took him there? So his association with the military is a known one. And Victor, you survived. We thank God for your life too. Bello is an Oku man from Kogi State. His twin brother is Sambo from Sokoto State. You can see the difference. And whatever happened to Bello indirectly affected Sambo. Is one and the same person. I've not read the book, but I'm sure that there'll be extensive mention of Sambo's name in that book. And I don't know in what capacity, but obviously, like they said, they are twin brothers. If we begin to relate with each other across the length and breadth of this country, the unity that we deserve so much will be built without any effort at all. I make this point because I think there is so much disunity in this country today that we need to do something about it. Before, if you gave me a microphone, that was before I joined politics and before I joined PDP. I'll be very strict on speaking for 1 minute. But since I joined politics, once you give the microphone to a politician, you know you can go anywhere. So I've restricted myself to the 1 minute because I've only 1 minute. In this 1 minute, I cannot say so many things. I haven't read the book, but I also recommend the book to myself and to all of you to read it. And I hope that when we read the book, Bello's classmates will be well reflected there. All the mischief, all the things they did that they shouldn't have done, hopefully will be revealed in the book. And then we'll learn a lesson from it. And finally, sir, Mr. Chairman, I want to say that you have two service chiefs on the high table with you. One has already spoken. The other one hasn't spoken, but I don't know whether himself and Bello also know something in common that the rest of us here don't know. But I hope that in the process we'll get to know who knows what and who doesn't know what in the audience here. Bello, you are 9 lives. They pray that it should go to 11 lives. I pray that it will go to the 12th life. And with that, I also want to join those who have spoken before me in wishing you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next on my list, His Excellency M.A. Abubakar, former governor of Bauchi State.
Your Excellency, the chairman of the occasion, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I don't know my qualification for being called upon to speak. In the first place, I missed the lawyers that were called in 1978 by a whole year. I was called in 1979. But I met Colonel Bello-Fadile at the university. I was a year his junior. But not just that, we had common friends, one of whom is now deceased, Barrister Andy Danusa. And then the other one, Professor Bomodu K. Momodu, is here with us. As a result of this, I became very close to Colonel Bello-Fadile. In fact, when we were in the law school, Andy Danusa started living with me in a place called Ojelade Street in Yaba in Lagos. But because of the distance to the Nigerian law school, when Bello later found a house at the Lejko Flats, a one-bedroom apartment, Andy Danusa moved over and started living with Bello. As a result of that, I found succor there because whenever we make the journey, the long journey to Victoria Island and the law school, after classes, we'll all hang around at the Lejiko Flats in Bello's house. Later, Bello moved to a bigger house in Ikoyi. We were still hanging around. And since those days, Bello has been an egbon for all of us. And we have always known him to be a very steadfast, a very principled person. He has now written his memoirs, and I am sure the memoirs will contain a lot of explosive accounts of his life as an officer of the Nigerian Army, and also his life as a lawyer. I will not answer Senator Victor Ndoma Egba because I'm not holding brief for any governor. I have had my stint as a governor, and I'm sure when I write my memoirs, my experiences as a governor will be found therein. But then I agree with Victor that the political space is narrowing, probably not because of the actions of the governors alone. There may be many other factors that are accounting for the narrowing of the political space, but I'll leave that for another discussion. Bello is said to have lived his 9 lives. Several people have prayed for him to live his 10th, his 11th, and the 12th. I also join them in praying that Bello will live his 12th life. And I'll finally join others in praying for a Merry Christmas and a prosperous New Year in advance. Thank you, and God bless you all.
Thank you very much. Next on my list is Ahmed Raji, SAN. Please put your hands together as he comes forward for his goodwill message.
Your Excellencies, General Absalam Abubakar, all the retired generals, distinguished audience. We've all heard from Colonel Fadile's seniors and contemporaries I do not belong to any of the categories. And in fact, I have never been in the military. But I'm here to speak as a junior brother to the colonel. I've known him for over 3 decades through a cousin of his who has remained my colleague from our Kano days. And my first meeting with him was at Bonnet-Camp, when he was in charge as head of legal. And ever since that day, all the qualities ably captured by General Babangida's accolade on him, I've seen in him. You can rely on him. If he gives you his words, that is just it. And he never says, this is a small boy. I would just refer to one occasion. I had a big challenge in the course of my practice. And I called him. I said, sir, this is my problem. He said, okay, come over. I will not mention the particulars of the matter, but he will always give me appointment between 6 and 6:30 a.m. And there was no day I got there, they would tell me he was sleeping. He will be up to receive me. Once he gave me the appointment, he will be there to receive me. And he saw me through the problem. I thank you a lot. When he had the challenge, although I wasn't able to visit him in any of the correctional centers, but whenever Kabir was going, I was always sending words across to him. And notwithstanding that, on his coming out, he still embraced me as a junior brother. And from that till today, he has always guided me. I owe him a lot. And it was his love with me, or which he has extended to me, that has linked me with Colonel Sambo Desuki, whom I also thank very profusely. Lastly, in the military, one thing I've learned from what is coming out today is discipline. I hope Nigerians will learn from the way the military is structured, so that if we are disciplined, then this society may get out of some of the problems. I knew Colonel Fadile as a friend of Colonel Sambo Desuki. But whenever I hear him say Oga, I know he's referring to Colonel Desuki. He never, for one moment, because they have been friends, but when Colonel was NSA, he would always say Oga, 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 which a quality I find very commendable. I wish you all the very best, and I pray your friendship lingers and nothing will come in between you. Wishing you Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Former Chief of Army Staff, General Alwali Kazir, is next on my list. Please put your hands together for him.
the chairman of this occasion, Your Excellency General Abdulsalam Abubakar GCFR, our father of the day, represented by his daughter, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. While I was seated there, Bello asked me if I wanted to speak. And I said yes, even if just to say well done, I think I should get to the podium and speak. As we should recall, I was governor of Kwara State, 1991. And at that time, Bello was one of my citizens, because that part of what is in Kogi still today was in Kwara State. Bello was a regular visitor and being interested in the development of his state, would sit down and discuss in detail what to do for the benefit of the state in general and its people in particular. As fate would have it, I was posted to the Command and Staff College, Jaji, where I met Bello there as a directing staff. After studying his qualities, a professional military officer, a lawyer, I found somebody who was very intelligent, still intelligent anyway, and somebody I could confide in. From time to time, I'd call him to my office to discuss issues with him. And that relationship continued. When I became Chief of Army Staff, known Bello, right from my position as governor and then directing staff, yes, his position as directing staff, and my being his director, I appointed him as my director legal. Unfortunately for both of us, when the 1995 issue started, both of us were put under the radar. They recalled the relationship we had, and what some of them were saying was that if Bello was involved, General Kazil would be there. To start with, that may be why he even appointed him as his director legal, so that in case something would come up, he would defend him or something of that nature. While we were grilled, luckily for me, he didn't go to the point of going to Argungu or any place similar to that. Very well done. I'm not surprised at all that he found time to put his experience in a book. Writing a book is not an easy thing. But then if you look at Bello's life, Bello had a purpose in life, and he followed that purpose by selecting what style he would use to achieve what he wanted to achieve. And I think the testimony is there from the appointments he had held, from what he was able to do. Bello knew exactly what his purpose in life was and is. After retirement, he didn't rest on his oars. He joined politics. Joining politics for a retired military officer is not an easy thing, because you are transmuting from one type of profession to politics, which some people call a profession. Some people say, no, politics is no profession. It is just something that will keep you going for you to get the goodies. And as it is today, if you want to get the goodies in Nigeria, join politics. That's what we are seeing. I tried to be a politician, by the way, I contested to be a senator in 2006. I discovered that the military and the politician are two different people. I don't know how David Mark managed to make it. I don't know how Ogbewa succeeded in becoming a senator, but believe you me, they are two different things. And when I told them, look, this is not the way we do it in the military, the first thing they will say, look, this is not military, this is politics. You will hold a meeting here, after discussing and deciding, they will go outside and another meeting will be held. And all that you had held and decided upon would be null and void. Bello, congratulations. And you are wearing 3 caps: a military officer, a lawyer, and a politician. In fact, I asked him, he told me he's now in the US. Well, whatever you're doing in the US, I wish you the best. Don't forget that wherever you go, first and foremost, you are Nigerian. Formerly, you are from Kwara State. Now, you are in Kogi State. I wish you the best. God bless you. Thank you.
Another round of applause for the general. He's always dressing sporty, and I don't know whether it's military uniform or Boy Scout. Former Minister of Sports, Solomon Dalong, is coming to speak to us in 1 minute. Please put your hands together for him.
Your Excellency, the Chairman of the occasion, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Let me begin by congratulating Colonel Bello-Fadile for having the opportunity to chronicle his own history at a time where such history is very, very critical in shaping and determining the growth and development of democracy. Colonel Fadile, in my mind, represents the misadventure of a personality who ventured into a regimented system, yet tried to maintain his revolutionary instinct and attempted to assert principle of liberal democracy within a regimented system where alternative opinions are not tolerated. And I think he ran the risk of the story of the cat with 9 lives, which we are gathered here for today. But my take from his book is that he struggled for democratic principle within the period of military interregnum had finally yielded the democracy of 25 years, which we have been celebrating. And I think subsequent speakers had interrogated the fact that the democratic space is receding. And I want to challenge the cream of personalities gathered here today that we need to do something urgently to unbundle the receding democratic space. Otherwise, the struggle of people like Bello-Fadile will take us to a next stage where we will have civilians wearing uniform not of my own and will not tolerate alternative opinion, and democracy which he struggled for will be something else. I want to thank the chairman, our father, and to also ask him a question, that this 1999 democracy, where it is a government of the few, for themselves and their family. Where did you get this brand of democracy? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let's recognize the presence of General Emeka Onyebuan. It's in the building. Please wave your hand, let them see you. General Emeka. Okay, coming now to speak for the family, for the Fadile family, is Justice Dupe Atoke.
Excellency, General Abdul Salam Waka, the representative of the Grand Patron, the generals who are here, my learned colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. I take the floor to make a short remark and to say that Bello has been recognized, commended, and acknowledged as a fine gentleman in the army, a lawyer. But I want to say that he has a family background as well, because we are all surrounded by what he did in the military while he was there. Bello is a father, a husband, a brother, an uncle. I'm Ni-Fadile, so we are from the family tree, very close, member to Colonel Fadile. We call him Brother Tunde in my family. And of all the members of the family, I dare to say that I am the closest of every one of us. We're a large family. The Fadile family is well known in Kaba. And it's unfortunate that John Cardinal Onayekon has left. He would bear witness to that, because my late father was his godfather. And he was also the godfather of my brother. So it's a close family, and we are well known, very large. But I just want to say that between Bodatunde and I, we have a relationship that exceeds just mere brotherhood. We have friendship. And everything that has been said about him, his travels, I bear testimony to it. One, we were colleagues at the ABU, Ahmadu Bello University. We were classmates at the ABU Zaria. We were classmates at the law school. So he's older than me, but we are colleagues at the law. And I know that all his travels, from the McPherson House in the Bodilon Junction to his travels in Arugungu. In fact, Bodatunde, as we call him, whilst he's the official resident of the Arugungu prison, I was the associate resident, because hardly a month passed by that I did not journey from Kaduna to Arugungu to check on his welfare. Hardly did his birthday pass that there was no birthday cake from Kaduna for him. So I know what he went through personally, and I can attest to the gravity of the solitary life that he lived in Arugungu. But having said that, I want to thank the Almighty God, because many a man will not be here when this kind of accord and commendations are read. They are just somewhere in a casket waiting, hearing nothing. But I'm grateful that you are alive and you are a living witness to all the commendations that has been rendered to you. And I pray that all of us will outlive death, not until we are also celebrated in our lifetime. Stubborn, ask me. Carefree, ask me. Daring, indeed. Where the angels have dared, he has trod with confidence. But that's the man he's made, and nobody can replicate him or try to copy him. He is who he is. And it has landed him in several troubles. But I do hear when somebody says enough. Now, relax, enjoy the goodness of the Lord, and let your children and grandchildren surround you like olive shoots as the Bible has promised. On this note, I just want to acknowledge everyone who has been here, particularly Your Excellencies, who have found time at this time to travel to Abuja and be part of Bello's good day. To everyone here, to his colleagues in the army, to members of his professional body, I want to say thank you. And I believe that we, in our lifetime, will have good testimonies to be shared amongst us. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much, madam. Now we're going to another crucial aspect of this program, and that is the book presentation. And to help us do that this afternoon, this gentleman, barrister, declared his intention to run for the office of the Nigeria president and became the candidate of Social Democratic Party in 2023. A very brilliant man and known for his deep insight on national issues. In 2023 election, he gave a very good account of himself. Who knows, in 2027, something good can happen. Sir, when that happens, please don't forget me. Ladies and gentlemen, help me put your hands together as I welcome Barrister par excellence, Prince Barrister Adewale Adebayo.
Your Excellency, our father, former head of state, General Salami Abubakar, whom we're very proud of. We thank you for coming today. I know that you always come when you are asked to come, big, small, medium, whatever the occasion. And I personally owe you a lot of debt of gratitude for your time in private discussions, in all things. And the other day we went to see your senior brother in Mina, and we were leaving, and Colonel Bello says, let's go and see Baba. I said, Baba is not home. He said, yeah, the house becomes ours. Let's go there. So we decided to go to your house where you were not there. Luckily, we met Mama there, and we were well received. So I thank you very much. And I must thank General Ibrahim Babangida for honoring this occasion. I know it's his duty. And in fact, I had no doubt that I will see my sister here. And I'm very happy. I love to see Baba, but I'm much happier to see you on many occasions. And I thank you, and you know that I'm very happy to see you on many occasions. I thank all the senior military officers. I don't need to thank Colonel Sambo because it's his book. So he's a co-author. I don't know, I was hoping to see co-author in the book, but I'm sure the next edition will have a co-author in it. I thank everyone who is here. I thank the leaders of the legal profession, our emeritus president of the NBA. I thank other senior members of the bar. I thank the governor, Lenesik, and Shifawumalo, and Senate leader, Senator Domegwa, and many leaders at the bar, Chief Kano Agabi, and Professor Ewu, so many people. I will not stand on existing protocols because I don't have legs that are strong enough to stand on protocols. I owe each and every dignitary here a personal regard, and I thank you. But I'll be given 30 minutes, which I will not use all of it, given the amount of time we spent already. But I will say basically that I was not asked to be the chief presenter. I just saw my name gazetted as the chief presenter. And Colonel Bello told me, you are the chief presenter. So I didn't ask him any question because the more questions I asked him, the more time it would take. I just took my faith that I will be the chief presenter. But I'm very happy to be here for millions of reasons. I met Colonel Bello when he has used all his 9 lives. He has used them all before I met him, so I am. And the 10th one, he was already using it very fast when I met him. And we started practicing law together. I learned a lot from him. Being a very gentle person like me, I think God needed a person who's very not so gentle on the other side. A gentleman officer, but very tough. And his friendship is by fighting. He cooperates with you by fighting. And I think I go to him sometimes so that he won't be fighting with himself, so that he can have somebody to fight with. But at the end of it all, you can see the structure of his mind, you can see what he's doing. If Chief Agabi is still here, Chief Agabi is a very gentle man, almost like a priest. But I think at a point, he asked me, what do we do about Bello? Nigeria must have offended him. But when we looked into it, it was because Colonel Bello did not believe in 99% justice. He wanted 100% justice, even when the matter did not concern him. Another reason why I'm here is that maybe those who have read the works of David Peel, D.Y. Peel, they will know that the person who started the Nigerian Army, Lieutenant Glover of the British Navy, with his 18 Hausa, Glover Hausas. There's a history about him that maybe it's not for today, but those who are interested in military history will know that he actually helped my great-great-grandfather also to set up an army because they were very close friends. And there used to be an Obayomi who was working with, an Oyoma who was working with Glover. And Glover needed to do something because he had a big fight with the Jabus after Captain Bauer defeated the Jabus. And he had serious problems. And my great-grandfather, as ruler of Odo, only made one request, that Steiner, there's a gun they call Steiner, which the British pretended that they did not know how the guns were entering West Africa. It was a gun that was used to prosecute the American Civil War. And he was interested in that, and he spoke to, then he had become Captain Glover. And Glover said, well, to me, to give you these armaments, I need to give you people who have trained how to use them. So that led to the coming to Ondo of Glover Hausas. And they remain in Ondo, and many of them have marched together with our family today. So the history of Nigerian Army is sometimes of interest to me. And I also happen to come from a family that has produced many military officers. Unfortunately, we've lost many of them. In fact, my father had 2 brothers, and 2 of them died during the Nigerian Civil War. So we have, and before then, we had lost your leader, General Ademolegun, and after that, we lost quite a number of them. That was why when I applied to join the army, and I took the form, I had no member of my family willing to sign anything. Because I was, at that age, the oldest person, the second oldest person in our ruling house, and I was just 17. And today I'm the oldest person in our ruling house, and I'm just praying and working hard because in the next 4 years, I'll be the oldest male in my family line for the past 1,000 years because of leadership, warfare, and all the rest of it. So I'm at home in company of strong men, in company of military men. I believe that there are a lot of qualities that you find in military men that you don't find elsewhere because of the fact that they have made the ultimate sacrifice from the beginning. You walk into the army, you deposit your life at the door. So your comrades who are with you, when they say that Colonel Bello has spent 9 lives, I'm not surprised because he has his brothers, his brethren with him who in trying times will lend him one life or the other to add to his own to make the 9 lives. And when you interact with military people like Professor Iwu or not too many people, Professor Iwu spent many years of his career working with military men at Walter Reed Defense Hospital in Washington, D.C. And when you work with military people, there's a big insight. If you're in politics, if you have to choose between a person with military experience and a civilian, if you're in politics, you have nothing to lose if you lean towards the person with a military experience. And what is important is that people have made a presentation today of Colonel Fadile. My job is different. I'm to present the book, not to present him. And the book is at a juncture that answers many, many questions that we must answer if we must continue to be a sovereign nation. Because one of the first things you will symbolize sovereignty is the army or armed forces. Even in Nigeria today, the armed forces, or at least Nigerian army, is older than Nigeria. Is, I think, the oldest enduring institution in Nigeria, apart from the missions, which are not part of the government. And it's important that we understand what this book means. What this book means is how it was conceived by our leaders in those days to go to different parts of the country and take young boys starting life who had other great dreams for themselves and use them to indigenize our military and to build an institution which was to be like the spine of the country, the skeleton of the country, the framework of the country. And they went around the country. And when you speak to any of the military officers, the most interesting stories is always the story of how they joined the armed forces. And I don't want to talk about the story of the 3 musketeers, 2 of whom are here today, Brigadier David Mack and Obeha, because I was very close to one of their brothers, the 3rd leg of the musketeers, Ben Kahigwe, whom we lost a few years ago. And when you listen to them, because Ben Kahigwe and I had a lot of time when we would spend almost 24 hours, 20 hours over many years. And when you listen to so many of the officers, you study the structure of the army, how you came from somewhere or nowhere, nobody cared. You join the army, you start the training, all of you become brothers. You build the institution, became so strong that we could volunteer peacekeeping in nations that are older than us. I believe Colonel Bello served even in Lebanon and many places in the world. To the apogee, I was discussing about 2 weeks ago at Mina, and I asked a simple question. I said, sir, the other day I came here, I was seeking your advice and permission that we need to restart the Nigerian army. Say, I remember. I said, but I asked one question. We did something in this country that nobody has tried to do in the entire global south. We set up ECOMOG. We set up ECOMOG self-funded, not UN-funded, self-officered, and we rally our brothers from the neighboring military, and we restore order in our hemisphere. We are struggling today to restore order between Abuja and Kaduna, but we were able to restore order in the hemisphere, and everybody who has had interaction with military academies in the world, they study how ECOMOG was successfully done. And when I arrived in Liberia as United Nations Commissioner for the Truth and Reconciliation to reconstruct the country after the war, we were many in that commission. If somebody spoke for 2 hours, if I kept quiet, they would say, let the Nigerian commissioner speak. Why? Because they said, without Nigeria, that country will not be in existence. So that military is possible. And that military, you will see part of that military in this book, 9 Lives. A military where some of the best brains in the country gathered together, well led, well officers, well trained, well regimented, and professionalized. You also see where we diverted. And Colonel Bello belongs to 2 professions that are crucial to the existence of Nigeria: the military profession and the legal profession. And the 2 of them have been challenged because they've been put in the vortex of Nigerian politics. Things that we should resolve in the House of Representatives and resolve in other citadels were being resolved in the army. And the army was meant to put 1 million people into one machine. It was not a place for divisive and difficult subjects that are not putting people in one mind. And that challenge affected a whole generation. And when you read the book, 9 Lives, and other books that have been written along that line, and more importantly, many who are so traumatized or so principled about it that they don't want to write. I was at an occasion a month ago, and I think Solomon Dalon was with me as well, where I was persuading a military officer to write his memoirs. He told me, I will write when all the people I want to write about are dead. I said, what is the point? So there are many officers who don't want to write, not out of cowardice, but they just look at it and realize, let's sleep in dog life. Because when they write, they think it will affect esprit de corps, it will affect certain reputations, it will affect peace of mind. But I think that, as I told the officer, because he was occupying a very important position at a very important time in Nigerian history. And I said, I will come back. You must write that book. If you don't want to write, I will get people to write. At least you agree that they should write. So it's important because we cannot do without the military. One of the fake achievements that we achieved in 1999 was that we said we got rid of the military. You cannot get rid of the military. You can take the military away from politics, but you need a strong military. And I think that our elders will know that maybe we overcorrected in 1999 when we became a civilian system and we threw away so many people who just had 1 day, 1 week, 1 month, 6-month tour in a political office. And we threw everybody away in one go. I think that is not good for the military. And we need to find a way to have a philosophy of what we to do with our military, because without that, the borders of a country are mere temporary acquisitions. It is the strength of your military, the doctrine, and the capacity of your military to defend your territorial integrity that makes your map to be real. Even if you don't have any designs that is nefarious, there are people in the world who have designs that are nefarious about you. And I want to say something that is not so difficult. I was doing a study in those days when I was preparing to be commander-in-chief. I was doing series of studies. And I found something that William Taylor had done the work, which I just studied. Of many things I studied, the one I found most remarkable was the transformation of the US military. Or the US military that we fear today, that the whole world is in awe of, is even younger than the Nigerian army. Because the military that the US had before World War I was just provincial constabularies that were left over of the American Civil War. And I know you are the experts in military study. You will know that the American Civil War was essentially federal militia and the revolutionary militia. There was no organized army. And when I studied the effort made to modernize the American army, to revamp it, and the resistance and the problem, even the suspicions of the American people against the American army, including the fact that up to today, the Americans still maintain a nationwide militia where everybody carries their own arms under what we call the Second Amendment. So I believe that it is possible to use this book as a segue into discussing, one, what do we do to have justice in all our institutions? Because when you read the biographies, the memoirs of people who started their career as young officers, many got truncated because of injustice within the institution. Because the institution itself has become a sacrificial lamb for the injustice that's in the country. You needed the military to solve all your problems. The issues that we couldn't resolve in the House of Representatives that took us to Lancaster House, the policies we couldn't resolve, the military came in 1966. They were needed to resolve all of those. They created all these states we have. In fact, the reason why we have a federal capital territory in Abuja today is because of the military. So the military solved all the problems we should have used politics to solve. Of course, you cannot give your house to a builder to build for you. And when you enter the house, you must find some things you don't like in that house. You say, I don't like the way you put the table. Even your wife says, I don't like the nature of this kitchen. But you must give credence to the builder that gave you a house in the first place. Because when we study it, we have done a quarter of a century now of civilian rule. We discovered that the demons that were chasing us in uniform are also chasing us now in Agbada. And that these are hard questions that are difficult to solve. National identity, national unity, distribution system. What do you do to make a modern country? And how do you defend a modern country? So this book is very important, and other books will follow. And those who should buy these books are those who are hoping to find disagreement in it. Because I read a few pages when it was given to me this morning, and I found 11 disagreements. So I believe that this will trigger more people to write. But three things I will leave us with is that, one, we must encourage the building of institutions. And there are 4 of them we need to build immediately. We need to rebuild our military. We need to rebuild our civil service. We need to rebuild our judiciary. And we need to rebuild our industries. Because when you put all of this together, you can have a modern country. Because we, for some reasons, which I don't want to interrogate here, we are a morbidly conservative country looking backward in an era where modern challenges are staring us in the face. So we need to build these institutions. And to build them, you need to find young Bello-Fadiles who will say, I dedicate my entire life to one of these 4 institutions. I will join the armed forces of my country, and that's all I will do all my life. I will be in the public service. That's what I will do all my life. I will be in the judiciary and dispense justice to all Nigerians. That's what I will do all my life. And I will build industry and create productivity for the country. So for that reason, I know Colonel Bello very well. He doesn't need any money. He has retired. The army is paying very well. So, but I will buy 1,000 copies of this book so that it can be sent to military formations, military schools, All of them are building universities now. And should also be sent to Nigeria Bar Association, because we can see that the bar and the military can fuse and produce a fine gentleman, and it should be given to all judiciaries and schools. And if they want me to buy 1,000 more after that, I will buy. I will keep buying until there's nobody who says he doesn't have the book. So on that note, I congratulate Colonel Bello-Fadile. I congratulate the publishers and all those who have contributed to it, and the entire family and the organizers of this event. And I must return to the high table and thank our father, chairman of the day. I thank my sister representing our father, the grand patron. Colonel Bello, I thank you very much. By being a friend of Colonel Bello, you have become a friend of everybody connected with Colonel Bello. And your friendship is tested in all waters, and you passed the acid test. We are waiting for your own book, but not today. But you owe us a book. And Colonel Bello also owes us 2 more books, because when you read his earlier books that have to do with law, without all these problems you find in this one, you know that this is a great scholar. So he needs to write more books now that he's in the habit of writing. So I thank you all for coming, and I thank everybody who has contributed to this. And on this note, this is not the beginning of the commercial session of today. Book buying, book selling, and I think it's a very worthy thing. Anything you do to buy this book is far better than saving your money to buy votes. Thank you very much.
Please, another round of applause for the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria that will be. Thank you very much. He has presented the book with some dollars. Okay. He's continuing his function over there. Please, the high table, you can join him over there. Yes.
Hello. Thank you. Okay.
I want to let you know that the soft copy of the book goes for 30,000 naira, while the hard copy is 35,000 naira. Soft copy, 30,000 naira, hard copy, 35,000 naira.
Mr. Chairman, sir.
Hard cover.
With your kind permission, sir. Yes, sir. With your authority, sir, may I unveil? Yes, sir. Yes, we are giving a copy. Yes. Yes, sir. Yes. I will take 2, the hard copy and the soft copy. Okay.
With you already have the pledge card with you. So whatever you can give it to the general. Soft copy, 30K. Hard, soft cover, 30,000 naira, and hardcover 35,000 naira.
So I'm buying 1,000 copies of the hardcover, and for those who want a soft life, I also buy 1,000 copies of the soft cover. So yes, at the published rates. Yes, so you know I don't know Dr. Bello-Fadile's accountant, but I know his lawyers. So he shouldn't have difficulty recovering his money from me anytime. Yes. Thank you, sir.
A round of applause.
Yes. Careful, sir.
The book has been reviewed and the book has already been presented to the public. Now, let me welcome to the podium the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, represented by his SA Technical, Professor Babatunde Bolaji. Please, a round of applause for him as he comes to deliver SGF's address.
Your Excellencies, I think I checked with an elder statesman beside me, and he said it would not be inappropriate if I refer to you as the father of democracy. You are my hero. Please, a round of applause for him. I was barely doing my master's degree when you did that awesome thing for my country, Nigeria. And although I later had an opportunity to serve the United Nations, I returned to my country immediately I had the opportunity, because I knew you set the pace for democracy, and I was hoping that my Nigeria I had when I was a child would return to me. So I thank you very much. You're my hero, sir. Thank you very much. My uncle, distinguished Senator David Mark. My mother is a thief woman from Benue State, and I have always admired you from a distance as well. I recognize you. Finally, I'm holding a book here with all the dignitaries and others that were recognized by the MC, so I believe the protocol has been well established. Before I read from my principal, I really thank him for these kind of opportunities that he gave to me. While my senior brother, Colonel Bello, was making his opinion count, even though he was in a regimented circle, I was doing my bit at the United Nations as well. I left them, I was barely 45 years, and all my seniors would not encourage me, because I was serving the UN as a nuclear scientist. They said, oh, so many things, but I told them I must go back to my own country and contribute to my own quota. I have, since I returned as a professor of nuclear science, trained over 80 young scientists in the same field that I know. General Agwai, we presented a paper together. You presented on national security. I presented on national integration. At the end of the day, you encouraged me for all the things I said, with a good example of Rwanda, which I referenced, that we have ingredients for a national reconciliation. Today, I will also borrow from the words of my uncle David Mark. Every Nigeria is angry
We are too divided to forge a national integration. With a national integration, I'm believing from all that has been said now, is the plug that we need. If we do not have a national reconciliation and we can hug each other and say we are sorry, I don't think this country can move forward. Of course, the former Minister of Sports also mentioned something like that. And since we are all looking for something like that, I believe my elders all gathered here should begin to initiate the process of national reconciliation so that we can enjoy the Nigeria I once had as a young person. Thank you very much. I am representing the Secretary to Government of the Federation, distinguished Senator George Akume, who just went away on his usual medical checkup once in a year. He compelled me to make sure I'm here. So I was on a travel, but I had to return because of the respect he has for this. The book, which I just heard a bit from the reviewer's hand, Professor Agbo Henry, I believe you did justice to that, and I think it is an ingredient for the national reconciliation I'm talking about. I would definitely, as a student of history, read that book by myself. My principal, distinguished Senator George Akume, asked me to therefore deliver this little good message to the author. Dear Colonel Bello-Fadile, thank you for inviting me to this epoch event of the launch of your book, 9 Lives, the Bello-Fadile Memoirs. I especially congratulate you for this scholarly step taken to document the highlights, bravery, masterclass, and adventures of your life and career for the sake of records and posterity. How you have been able to combine successfully your military career together with being a human rights lawyer demonstrates your dexterity, mastery, and purpose-driven life, which we are all proud of. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, fellow Nigerians, as we celebrate the launch of this book, let us continue to reflect on the role played by many of our heroes, both past and present, in ensuring that democracy returns to Nigeria. I thank you once again, my father. These books demonstrate the role Colonel Bello-Fadile played and the bravery he demonstrated in the face of adversity. Special thanks to our father and a respected elder statesman, General Abdulsalami Abubakar, whose magnanimity and pardon has made this day a joyous one for us all. His contribution to the peace and stability of Nigeria can only be rewarded by God Almighty. Since it is our collective desire to have a democratic government in Nigeria established on the principles of justice and fairness, I implore us all to join hands with the federal government under the leadership of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, in building the Nigeria of our dream. Finally, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I encourage us all to get a copy of this book, read, and digest the bravery demonstrated by this patriotic Nigeria in the person of Colonel Bello-Fadile, and how it has contributed to the formation and institutionalization of democracy in Nigeria. Thank you for your kind attention, and may God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Distinguished Senator George Akume.
The Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Senator George Akume, has spoken. Please, another round of applause. We're winding down very fast, and this is the moment we have been waiting for. We're going to have the vote of thanks from the celebrant, the man with 9 lives. If you ask him how he hold on to life, he'll tell you, if you believe there is God, there's always a better tomorrow. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let me welcome to the podium the latest author in town and the man with 9 lives. Ladies and gentlemen, please give him a standing ovation as we welcome Colonel, retired but not tired, very proactive, Bello-Fadile. Please put your hands together. When I grow up, I want to be like you, sir.
I expect people should launch this book before you speak, sir.
See that?
I expect people should launch before you speak. Launch it.
You see my trouble. Please see that. They say they want launch book before I speak. Which one I go take now? Now that I'm here, now the chairman said I can speak. Thank you very much. I wanted to say Mr. President, but Mr. Chairman, I will not get money, won't speak. Thank you very much for coming, sir. Excellency, you know what I mean. I stand on existing protocol. I titled the vote of thanks, I call it relationship, caring beyond imagination. That is, relationship means caring beyond imagination. It is both an honor and a privilege to stand before you today as we celebrate the public presentation of 9 Lives, the Bello-Fadile's memoir. This remarkable book chronicles my extraordinary military adventure from trial, tribulation, to near-death experience, and ultimate triumph, as well as how I weathered the storm with great courage and vision. Distinguished guests, your presence here today reminds me of the story of 2 friends, the crab and the wave. A crab was once running on the seashore and was admiring his beautiful footprints. Suddenly, a large, huge wave splashed and washed away the footprint. The crab asked, "Why will you, a good friend, erase my footprints?" The wave replied, "A fisherman was tracking you. I cleared the footprints for you, for your safety." This story invokes the lessons in being our brother's keeper, looking out for one another, and because relationship means more than imagination. The significance of the story lies in this relevant moment, which brings many of my beneficiary friends and colleagues. This gathering is a testimony to the power of relationship in life of a man. Genuine relationship built on mutual trust and affection is like quality seeds that deliver bomber yields during harvest time. To be truthful, as we drew this event to the close, I was at a loss for suitable words to express my gratitude to everyone present who had helped make it a memorable milestone in my life. The ancient sage Jal-Din Mahmud Rum said, "Wear gratitude like a cloth, and it will feed every corner of your life." Albert Sixworth also said, "At times, our own light goes out and is rekindled by a spark from another person. Each of us has a cause to think with deep gratitude of those who have lightened the flame within us. First and foremost, I give thanks to the Lord, for he is good. His love endures forever. There's yet another important reason why I must give thanks all the glory.
We are here today because of the determination and courage of one man, whom God used to grant me respite, justice, and restoration. He is an officer and a gentleman to the core, a father figure to all who know him, a man of honor, a pious man of distinction, a man who voluntarily surrendered power to stabilize the Nigerian politics. I am talking about no other person than His Excellency, General Salam Abubakar, former military head of state. Thank you, sir. Not only did he stabilize the situation and handover, he also set me and my colleagues free at a time when we face an uncertain future. Your Excellency, with your unwavering conviction that justice needed to be done, you used your good offices to sign the decree of pardon, which set us free on the 4th of March, 1999. Sir, on behalf of my colleague, of the beneficiaries of the bold yet wise decision, I'm using this medium to reaffirm our eternal gratitude to you. May the Almighty Allah continue to keep you safe, sound, and in good health. Amen. Let me also put on record my posthumous appreciation to my compassionate friends who are not here with us today, but whose active role in my journey of life needed to be etched in the sand of history. First is Engineer George Oloworaran, who gave me the opportunity to attend Ahmadu Bello University Zaria and the keys to my law degree. He's represented here today by one of his daughters and mother of the day, Accountant Bola Oloworaran. Alhaji Kumasi, Inspector General of Police, whose 1,000 Naira gifts on a Friday saved me from perishing in the muddy water of Ejigbo 32 years ago, 26 September 1992. I had gone to see him, that I was going back to Jaji on a Friday, and he said, Bello, take 1,000 Naira. Stay with your family. Don't travel on Saturday. That was how I missed the Ejigbo disaster, Charlie 130 death. Honorable Justice Adolfo Godwin Karibe White, who fearlessly canvassed my innocence before General Sani Abacha and got the answer from Abacha. I will not kill Bello, but punish him for coordinating those who want to overthrow his government. That is the answer Abacha gave him. He's represented here by one of his daughters, Dr. Asikia Karibe White. General Shehu Musa Yaradua, whose, of course, I know today, casual remark earned him death sentence in the hands of Brigadier Patrick Aziza. They have asked him during interrogation, do you know Colonel Bello-Fadile? He said, of course I know Tunde, which was the name he was calling me. And that was what earned him the death sentence. Though he may have left the physical world 27 years ago, his selfless service and bridge building remains in our memories and keep pushing us to do more for the common good of our nation. He's supposed to be represented here by Muritala. I don't know what happened when he didn't show up. He has told me he was going to come, his son. Alhaji Abdullah Ibrahim, as the then Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, crafted a decree of pardon for military head of state signature. Thus my Freedom Day of March 4, 1999. There's a story behind how this thing happened. I was told when the head of state was planning to free us, one of his senior officers said, no, don't free us, leave them, the coming government will free us. And then the head of state said, okay, no problem. He prepared a list, and at the Provincial Ruling Council, he came and said, well, gentlemen, I have this thing that we need to do. Nobody could say anything. The guy who was opposed to it, freeing us, couldn't talk. And that was how it was passed. Sorry, don't ask me how I know. Then Dr. Deborah Haggai, she's not here with us. She died during the ADC crash. She, with courage, gathered medical specialists in the ABU's area with the hope that I will be transferred from Marububu to Kaduna. And then he got all the doctors that will keep asking, treating me, and kept me there in Kaduna. But she's no longer with us today. And of course, my born himself, Dr. Boko Lolari Ransom Kuti, who with his fearlessness and let the work fall, audacity, faxed my final submission to the British Minister, Right Honorable John Major, thus put our case beyond the international community. Is there in the book, but it's good to explain to you. When I got my final submission smuggled out through one naval officer, my sister-in-law, then my brother-in-law got a copy and sent it to Beko. Beko faxed this message of entrapment, that I was entrapped. He faxed it to the British Prime Minister's office in London. Then Alaji was the High Commissioner. The Prime Minister called Alaji. You said this one is planning coup, but look at his defense. What do you have to say? Alaji brought it to Abuja. They went and met Abacha. How did this thing get to London? Unfortunately, then the fax number of Beko was on the top of the paper. So they went straight there, and there it was on his table. How did you say, this is a public place? How will I know? That's how he was arrested and also charged with us. He caused my sister-in-law, he caused the naval officer to be sentenced also for accessory after the fact. So, Mr. Chairman, sir, with your permission, can we please stand for 1 minute silence in the loving memories of this, my passionate friend, sir. May their souls continue to rest in peace with the Holy One. Amen. I will now like to extend my gratitude to all those who have spoken and all their comments and everything. Unfortunately, my dear cousin from the center of the universe, which is Kaba, His Eminence John Cardinal has left, for his prayers always, and for putting my name as number on the list of prisoners of conscience he gave to Pope Paul to give to Abacha during the Papa visit. Well, my most obliged brother Wole, as my learned sick, Agabi has gone, called him and me, Brother Bello, when he led us in several election petitions in the past year. Kindly accept my appreciation for your loyal friends when we met at INEC office over 20 years ago and doing a good job as a presenter. Well, I have not forgotten my friend and brother of over 50 years. Like General Agwai said, 1972, we met in Nigerian Defense Academy. When I say my friend and brother, it was the late Sultan, the 18th Sultan of Sokoto, Baba Serki as we call him, who compared me and him as Rakumi and Buzu. That whenever you see Rakumi, you want to see Buzu. When you see Buzu, you want to see Rakuri. Thank you, Konesambu. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. To my fellow heroes of democracy, this is also an opportunity to relive your experience and free yourself of the burden of history. Should you be moved to give credence to the contents of my memoir, or go far as filling in the gap that I might have unwittingly omitted due to effusions of time, battle fog, or blind spots, Also, on many fronts, this memoir will clarify issues for many and bring to many who have reason to disagree. In some forums, difference of opinion may emerge from discussions around the memo. Nevertheless, what is beyond dispute is that this memo is sure to get all of us talking. And from such dialogue, healing occurs, and we jointly release the sunlight of mutual enlightenment. I am not perfect. My fellow people involved in the enterprise, it's an opportunity for you to speak out, accept my view, or say your view. And I humbly, at this junction, I submit briefly, without repeating the rhetoric and politics that we have had. Everyone has a duty to contribute to the fight for a better future in the country. Thus, let us seek unity, peace, development, and strong institutions through truth, equity, and justice as a nation in all our endeavor. The level of ethnic, religious, and political division in the country makes progress difficult. It is important that elders and leaders, through the instrumentality of public institutions, major civil organizations, take patriotic steps towards mending the fragile fabrics of the nation. So, ladies and gentlemen, let us, with courage, do our part for the common good. Brothers and sisters, I beg and pray that as you leave this place today, each and every one of us will do one good thing for the common good of our people. Let us always remember the wisdom and the priceless word of Caesar. It seems to me the most strange that men should fear, seeing that death is a necessary end, will come when it will come. I also use this opportunity, since the Secretary to Government is here, and appeal to His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, a former NIGCO stalwart and champion of the rule of law, to demonstrate magnanimity by implementing the recommendation of Puta panel reports in Volume 4, 2002, regarding our rightful promotion to the rank commensurate with our people. I'm looking for what to say about my family. And I said, lastly, to my darling family, wherever you are today, your love and support have been my greatest strength throughout this journey. You have been with me through the highs and lows, and in spirit and action. I am endlessly thankful for your encouragement and patience. In conclusion, I wish to remind us that this occasion is not just a celebration of a book, but a celebration of the indomitable spirit of Colonel Bello-Fadile, whose life history will now inspire many across generations. I am deeply grateful to all of you for making today's event a resounding success. Thank you, and may we all continue to contribute to the rich tapestry of our nation's history. God bless you all, and God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Yes, so please, another round of applause. Now, I am taking the microphone back to the book presenter. The book presenter has already launched. He's going to lead us, for all of us to contribute to the cause of 9 lives. Sir.
Well, it is, Mr. Chairman, sir, I'm told that my duty continues. Well, what I've been told is that my duty continues until every copy of the book has been sold. Two things I will say is that for those who are not under some duty to keep their purchase, contribution, donation, whatever, private.
Sorry, media, please display the account details.
It is fashionable to actually say what you are going to do. But for those who are under certain regime where you are not supposed to announce your financial activity in public, you can do so by private communication to the author and the book publishers. But there are two things you need to bear in mind. One, there's a portion of the book where the author said when he came back to law practice, he made a lot of money. Please ignore that section of the book, because he mentioned my name there, and I have not made a lot of money. So that, I think that's an editorial error, that part of the book. Ignore that. Secondly, unlike those days, now by making contributions to a book launch, you cannot be arrested as contributing to anything. So you should be free. But I think the idea that you have been here already, you have come, is sufficient. But it's important that we should buy the book, we should recommend the book to others, and we should do any other thing that will promote. The book is a very expensive publication, and it's good to encourage intellectual contribution in this country. So I hand over to my neighbor to the left. That's how it's done. And then it goes all the way there till it gets to you eventually. Sir.
Now, to start with, I am retired. And apart from being retired, I'm a pensioner. Therefore, I will try as much as I can to buy 5 copies each of the soft, what do you call it? Hard copy, and then 5 copies of the soft copy. So 5 hard, 5 soft. So as you said earlier, maybe I give the hard copies to hard people and soft copies to soft people, if I'm able to identify them. Thank you.
I think General Kazi has set the tone, and there is no need to go higher than that. I'll just take the same stand that you are taking, 5 of each. Thank you.
So I would like to respectfully I wouldn't want a situation where my fathers and my uncles are taking this. So I am their daughter, and they have seen me from when I was a little girl up. So I am going to take on everything that you want and how many copies that you want, right from there to there. I will take it up on myself to do this on behalf of my father.